I was standing in the driveway and I was looking at my car and I had $140 to my name. And my unemployment was cut off, so I had no money. I had really nothing to carry on and go anywhere. And I was, trying to pay off these bills, and they were just pointless. It was just pointless at that point. And I just kind of threw my hands in the air and I looked at my car, and this sudden rush of horror just went through my whole body. And then I started laughing. It was those feelings when I knew I was going to end up living in my car. And I got sick to my stomach, actually. It was a really frightening thing.
When I realized that I was served with, the papers, and knowing that this was the last night that I was going to be here, I didn't realize where I was going to go, what me and my children were going to do.
The first few days were just, the first few months were terrible. I just, you're just scared. You're trying to hide. You're dealing with shame. Your pride's just been destroyed. It's so dehumanizing. You can't believe it yourself.
Being homeless is probably the most hopeless I've ever felt in my life. Because, laying there in my car, backseat of my car with my clothes basically covering me for blankets, I realized that this is no way for anybody to live.
I had, your normal, typical, everyday home. I mean, it had 4 bedrooms and it had 2 bathrooms. I didn't do too bad for a single mom. I worked really hard. I was a teacher at the time in the Albuquerque public schools, and I worked in classrooms with behaviorally different kids, and I liked it.
By the time I was reaching almost 40, life was pretty much where I expected it to be and wanted it to be. I'd have, good job. I was in a city that I loved. A house, the maintenance of the house, the dogs, the lifestyle, the friends.
Really had a loving family that just wanted the best for me. I grew up loving sports. Through track, I was a high jumper, and overall, I was probably one of the shorter guys, but jumping the highest on our team.
10 years ago, I had a house, 4 trucks, 4 or 5 guys working for me. I enjoy plumbing. When you do something for 32 years, I can basically do it blindfolded now. It's crazy how one stumble and it seems like you're on the street. It seemed like it just overnight.
I grew up in Chicago, graduated high school, then was evicted from my home that I grew up in for 13 years the day after graduating high school. So the homelessness part started at an early age.
Started getting into other things such as drinking, started going to parties. It was kind of gave me a rush.
I would go shopping and see a purse or a blouse or a pair of shoes or something that I really, really like. And the money that I have is really, from my electric bill or water bill or, whatever. And my conscience would be like, I really want that purse, but I have to pay my electric bill or we'll be without electricity. I made a bad decision to go and buy the purse instead of paying my electric bill.
I wasn't really that serious about it. It was more of just like, okay, maybe this is getting out of hand a little bit, but, I still got it under control. And I ended up getting into a treatment center for the first time at the age of 19. It was just the beginning of the next 8 years of really just destruction.
I became traumatized at my workplace over a series of events, from workplace harassment and bullying to the point that it created such anxiety that was paralyzing. And my job is saying, something's wrong with you. You're not who we hired. You're not yourself. While we're concerned about you, but you need to go take some time off. My life was slipping, and I knew it was, and I became more fearful to the point I couldn't even leave the house.
Everything went great until the recession hit, and then you start losing stuff.
Well, the economy kind of tanked, and my teaching position was cut way back. And so I ended up struggling to hang on to my house and to, do I rent it out? Do I hang on?
The next thing you do is you lose your car and you lose your credit.
I was able to get unemployment, but it wasn't enough. And I stayed with friends here and there. In the middle of all that, I got really sick for the first time. That created a real difficulty for me.
The next thing you know, you're on the street. Everything I got, I can carry with me.
I can understand why homelessness would cause someone to totally spiral downward.
I kept trying to get a grip on what was happening in my life and the support system that I had. Everybody, there was an abandonment all in just in a few months. So there wasn't a support system. And I just found myself completely alone.
I was calling everybody I could that I knew that might talk to me, and just asking for their help. And really, at that point, I'd lost my job because of my addictions, and I didn't feel that I would be able to keep a job anyways.
I had no family here, and I had no support. And it was just me and my kids, so that's when I realized that I was going to be homeless.
There's no time or resources to really heal from that. You immediately go into survival mode.
You're in a place of constant survival, of just your basic human needs. So you get up in the morning and you have to go to the bathroom really bad, and there's all these laws, and you got to make sure that you're doing it in the right place. You're looking for that bathroom. And in the meantime, you're having to wait to go to that bathroom, and your bodily functions are being affected.
Where am I going to get my next meal? For me, it was, where am I going to get my next fix? Like, I don't have any money.
And so you're looking, your whole life has changed to where you're having to focus on something that so many people take for granted.
The learning curve is tremendous. There's no home base to launch from. There's nowhere to hang your hat or your keys. It's just very different to not have a base to start from.
Especially if you're a woman and you feel unsafe, in that regard.
I really could only do it for so long until I, was crying out to God and just saying, God, I can't do this anymore. I need your help. Like, I need anything. Like, just help me.
When that wind gets pretty cold in wintertime and the rain blowing, just forget about it. So you're just sitting there thinking, geez, I am just wasting time.
Homeless is hopelessness for me. It was that empty feeling inside of, realizing that I had nothing left, really.
I think that the needs are largely individual, because I can speak with other different homeless people, and it's going to vary. What is interesting, a common denominator, is they want someone to talk to, someone that is just going to listen to them but just be present.
A lot of us just want somebody to talk to. A lot of times, it's just somebody to have a relationship with.
I can't really explain the humility of having to reach out for help.
You can feel the judgment. You can feel the sensations of people, how they treat you or their body language or how they shift or how they double check their car doors. Don't be harsh on yourself for your own actions, but at the same time, be kind.
You're sitting on the bus and there's one seat left beside you, but yet, the next 20 people get on the bus decide you're going to stand.
When you stop having regard for human life, for any reason, let's not judge them for why they're laying on the concrete, be it they're a terrible alcoholic or they have a horrible, probably medical problem. Don't judge them for that. Just help them. Even if it's just a little bit.
It's very hard being homeless. If you see a family member or a friend or the person that's on the side of the road with their cardboard box up, don't just automatically judge that person that's on the side of the road.
I wish people would at least acknowledge, that there's somebody walking down the street.
If you do want to make eye contact, nod, and with a level of respect that you would, anybody in your school, church, or office. Just treat them like a normal human being, because it's already degrading enough. We don't need the added persecution.
Because no, I don't think anybody really chooses to get up one day and I'm going to be completely homeless. Yay. This is going to be a big party. No. And you'd be amazed at how many people say, oh, so you're choosing to live that way. No, I'm not choosing to live that way. I don't have enough of an income right now, and I'm not well enough to pay very much in rent. We need you. We need to be working together at this, because it's not going to go away because we don't like it.
Ultimately, I didn't just get off the streets by myself. It was a help of people in the AA community. I was going to AA at the time. My family is back in my life. Seeing someone downtown, wherever, and on the streets, and I feel for them. I know they're hurting, and I know they wish they weren't homeless.
I can only rely on and choose to rely on the things that I know to be true. And that is, I've always felt like there's a big purpose and plan for me in this life. It has something to do with making a difference and an impact and helping others. I know that much.
Pick your one person, your 1%, and look to that person and say, what can I do for you today? Let me just show you a little bit of kindness today. Because after you live this way, hope becomes this whisper back here. It's a whisper in the back of your head, and you can't hear it anymore.
Everybody should be looking out for everybody else. That's the way it should work.
And what I'm trying to say is we all got hurt. And we all got to help each other through that. We all have got to give each other a little bit more grace.
Because there's not enough love out here, for sure.